Hi guys, Billy back with a new review. We're doing the 1/6 scale AC Play Catwoman figure. There's been a couple teased recently. I remember Superman Toys advertised a version of Catwoman. In fact, they've teased two. One that's normal and one that's battle damaged. And AC Play also teased one, and I quite like the head sculpt on the AC Play version more. So I decided to go with that. At the time, I didn't notice the flaws in the design, but there are minimal, but there are some there. Let's just go straight in. I haven't unboxed it simply because I didn't really want to unbox it. Impatience got the better of me. Okay, I just want to get straight into this one because I've got the Blitzway Ghostbusters standing over there and I really want to get to unboxing them. But as far as the head sculpt goes, this is a pretty good version of Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. It's not exact on, but it is pretty nice. I like the way that they've got the slight inaccuracy here in the eye. I also like the fact that the actual eye holes are not exactly even, which is good because in the film her eye holes weren't actually exactly the same symmetrically. They're a bit misshapen. So I'm glad they kind of got that in. I really like the way her smile is sort of like a wry smile, and she's got the cheek dimples there. That works really well. And I also liked the actual miss stitchings all the way along, which they got right and is quite accurate. And as you turn it around, you can see the stitching is all the way around. And the ears look pretty good and firm. And there's miss stitching on the ears here and all the way around the back. Paint application's really nice. There's nothing really overlapping. There's no mispainted parts. The lips are quite nice and red and glossy. Not too brightly red though. The skin tone maybe is a little pinker than what I would normally like. I think maybe she should be a little paler. But when I bring Batman next to her, you can see she is still quite pale. And under this bright light, I think she is showing up as quite pale anyway. I think AC Play have done quite a good job with the actual head sculpt. I think that's a win. Again, if you hear a puppy howling and wailing, it's because that damn thing doesn't stop howling and wailing when I'm upstairs. Hates to be alone even for 5 minutes, so sorry if you hear that in the background. Anyway, as you can see, as we bring her in, you can see that the paint app is quite nice. There's not a lot in the skin, but then in the movie it was quite a monotoned skin style anyway. She was quite pale, and deservedly so. See if we can get her into the eyes. Slightly greenish, which is really nice. And there's a nice gloss reflection to them. And the eyebrows are nice and fine. They're not overdone or mispainted. Yeah, it's a win for the head sculpt, I think. Okay, coming down to the torso, you can see I've got her with her arms stretched out, so there might be a little bit of misshaping in the PVC suit. But if I bring it down straight, we can actually see there is a nice glossy fabric there. Now, straight away, you can see where they fell down on the detail, and they fell down on the stitching. You can see it blatantly, whereas you should be sort of missing stitches here there with cross stitches crisscrossing. Same with the head sculpt here. You can see in the head sculpt there's crisscross stitches, missed stitches. It's really slapdash together, and she's managed to cobble together enough just to stitch it in the right way, which is what they should have done here, but they haven't. They've used some sort of stitching machine to create a zigzag effect, and that goes all the way through. That's where this figure loses its most points, is in that miss stitching. Some people have said they're going to try and correct that by tearing some stitches out, adding some more in, like with the crisscrosses and things like that. I possibly might do that in the future, not for the moment, but it's there for the option. Now you can see with the neck piece here, you can pull the neck piece up there and hide the collar in underneath, and it does seamlessly go in together. You can lift the head sculpt completely off. You can see there is an adapter there, double adapter really, and it slides back on. But it's nice because when you position this head sculpt around, you can put it down, you can put it forward, but you can actually then readjust everything so that the collar goes in underneath the head sculpt. I like that. I hate the fact that some of these, I think Superman's one advertises it with the neck is way too long. But there are some things I think they could have done better, and that stitching is something they could have done better. Come down to the corset, you can see that the material in the suit is really nice. It's sort of like a glossy PVC feel to it. Like, it feels like the film material. It looks like it came out of the film, which is really nice. I really like the fact that they've actually gone that extra hog and managed to find a material that is really close to the original one that they use in the movie. And the corset, as we come around to the back, we can see is really nice. You can get this nice corset. It's really on there. It's a separate piece from the rest of the suit, and it's all tied up at the back like a real corset would be. And it works really nice, and it sits perfectly into the body, and it gives that proper Catwoman curve that you would expect to see. It's a really nice part, and it falls down simply because of the over stitching that they have done, which is a shame, but I think a few of us can redoctor that and make a better version of this figure. As we come down, we can see that the suit has separate hands. This is where it wins and loses at the same time. There is pluses and minuses. A plus side to these hands is the fact that you've got this PVC material coming off the ends. So they are fully long-armed gloves all the way up to her elbow, which looks really, really good. However, when it comes to the hands, the poses are really nice. She has cat-like claw hands. She has gripping hands for the whip. And she also has these sort of slightly more aggressive forward-facing hands that look like she's about to scratch. Problem is, they didn't bother with the paint application on the actual nails, which are supposed to be metal. They just left them black, which is, again, it wins here and it loses right on the tips here without any of that. Again, that can be corrected by us with a little bit of silver paint. I think that's something they could have done anyway. And of course you get two whip holding hands or gripping hands. You get her whip. It's a shame here because the whip sort of curves just a bit here. I don't know if that's deliberate or not. If that was made that way, or if it's just my one is a little bit defective. So I'd have to maybe warm it with a hairdryer and straighten it out possibly. But then it's got this nice rope that's covered with like a latex, black gloss latex stuff to make it look like a real whip. And it's real malleable and you can move it around. There's no wire in it unfortunately, so you can't pose it and then have it like sort of whipping around a head or a waist or anything like that. But it is nice to have a whip. I'm hoping that someone else will maybe make a third party version. Go down to the legs. It's all one suit, so you can see that this part here and this part here will be the same. The stitching is all the same, the PVC, but it fits around the legs really close and snug, but not too snug that you can still get some pose out of those legs. And I think you can get some really nice poses out of her. The joints on the body are super stiff and really nice. And then down to the boots. The boots are really nice. They actually have some nice balance to them considering they're super high heeled and they go all the way up to her knees. But the thing is, they're quite plasticky, which is fine, but then they didn't put any detail into the actual boot itself. This is all one piece of plastic, all molded and sculpted with no details painted in. It's just one big plastic boot. There's no weathering, there's nothing on there other than what you see here, which is a shame. They lose a few points for that, but they still look like the Catwoman boots and they do work really well. And then we have this stand, which is okay. It's not the worst stand, and it's nice that we got a stand. There are a lot of figures out there that you get, especially from third parties who are selling unlicensed versions of characters. Don't even include a stand. I don't think I got one with my R-World Hannibal Lecter. I didn't get one with Scream Face. I didn't get one with my Jack Nicholson Shining by Kraft. It's nice to actually get a stand, and it works really well with her. There's enough space on there you can spread her legs out a little bit and maybe get some more dynamic poses out of her without her legs coming off of the stand too much. The nameplate is sort of like I think it's a sticker. It's quite nice. It says Catwoman, and I'm really glad that they didn't go with the actual logo that's on the box itself, which is Catwoman logo from the Halle Berry film.
Green, straight up.
And, you know, as much as we're all such big fans of that movie, I don't think it would have been nice to have it on this stand here. But they've gone with a sort of generic Catwoman in a sort of serif type font, so it's quite nice. Okay, in terms of posing, you can get the head down about that much before it starts to fall off. You can get the head up really high, about that much. You know, she's looking up at a bat symbol. Turn the head 360. You can push it down a little bit and get it over the collar again. We've got full arm, straight up, even a little bit more than straight up, all the way up there. You can get a full elbow bend in, all the way to her stomach and chest, and get it up to her face. It's a really nice double bend in the elbow. And you've got full wrist rotation, and you've even got some from the arm lock there. But I have to push the arm peg back in. Torso bends a little bit, but not a lot, simply because there's some restriction with the corset. I think actual Michelle Pfeiffer had that problem as well, which is why she doesn't do a lot of bending forward in it. Of course, you've got really nice leg articulation. Legs come forward about that much, go back about that much. There is a double bend in the knee. If you really want to take a risk, you can bend it to about 90 degrees, which is pretty good. And you can bring it forward about, say, that much. Can we do... No, we definitely can't do the splits here. Starting to tear already in there, putting some pressure. But I think you can really rock these trousers up a little bit. Push them up. Push, 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 push. You might be able to get a little bit more out of there. So the articulation it's pretty good actually. It's not too bad. I've seen far worse on figures with tight, super tight suits, and I don't feel as worried about it. See, I have the Hot Toys Deadpool, and I worry about articulating him more than I do with her, but that could just simply because of the cost of him to her is roughly about £100. And here I have her posing next to my Hot Toys Batman Returns. As you can see with the skin tones, she does have a slightly more milky complexion than Batman from Hot Toys. I have her in the moment just sort of reaching around to see where she can find the man behind the bat. This is weird to score. Okay, take two on that. This time she's probably going to stand a little bit better. But this is a really nice figure to have if you already have the Hot Toys Batman Return figure. Hot Toys have teased they're going to be doing a Batman Returns Catwoman, but I don't know when they're going to get around to it. They haven't teased one recently, and they certainly haven't said anything for a little while on the subject. Howard Chan did an AMA type Ask Me Anything forum question thing, and they asked about Catwoman and Penguin, and he said expect Catwoman a lot sooner than Penguin. I don't know what that means, and we still haven't seen anything teased yet. Doesn't mean we're not going to get one, and lots of people are hoping against hope that they do it. I hope that they do it because I know for a fact that if a company like AC Play can get this close to the actual original, then Hot Toys will smash this out of the park. But as it is, we're talking about this figure, and although it does have some flaws, it works really well when you put it next to a Hot Toys Batman Returns figure. And for that, I would say this is a definite buy. If you really want a Catwoman and you're not sure if Hot Toys are going to do one, and you don't mind a few, not defects, but a few inaccuracies, then this is definitely for you. However, if you just want the quintessential /1, almost film perfect version of Catwoman, this is not it. But she is really nice. I'm going to give her a 6.5 out of 10, which is, people will say that's a bad score. It's not a bad score. She falls down because of certain things like the stitching and the boots. There's no weathering or colouring. They don't give her a taser. They could have given her the taser. I've seen that the Super Mad Toys version has the taser, which I think really should have been included with this. But it is a really nice accessory for the Hot Toys Batman Returns figure, and if you really like Catwoman and you really want loads of Catwoman, I would not criticise you for getting this one. It's really good. Where it wins is the head sculpt. It wins with the material on the suit. It wins with the material on the corset. It wins with the sculpting of the boots. It wins material gloved hands. The whip is okay. It's not great, but it's serviceable. They lose with the stitching and the fact that they didn't even bother to paint the fingertips silver. That's where this figure falls down mostly. But if you could overlook those, this is a definite must-have for most Batman and specifically Catwoman collectors. because you can never have too many, right? Okay, that's it for now, guys. That was just a quick review of the AC Play Catwoman. I'm going to go and I keep looking over to my left and seeing a big shipping box with Ghostbusters logo on the side by Blitzway. So I'm going to be getting and undoing those right now because I just can't wait any longer. So, okay, guys, that's it. Take care. If you could do me a favour now, if you could just stand up and get the fuck out of my cave, I'd really appreciate it. I've got shit to do. Goodbye.